Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'd like to make a video that I wish I would have seen something like this a long time ago. It's basically a video on just how I began kind of delving into the stock market and how I began to experiment with it. It's by no means the only way to do it. It's just how it's obviously my opinion and my experience with it. Basically, these are a few tools that I use almost daily that teach me how the stock market works and kind of give me a first person, first hand kind of experience, a feel for the stock market, if you will. So the first tool that I'd like to cover is Investopedia. This is actually a tool that I was introduced to back in high school in my econ class. And at the time, I didn't really think too much of it, but now I realize that there's a lot of potential in this. Basically, what it does is it gives you a $100,000 investing power. It's a simulated market. Well, it does follow the actual stock market, but it's a simulated investment, and it kind of lets you invest in stocks and see how well you do in a realistic real life scenario. And this is definitely the best tool that I have used to get into investing. So basically, I can show you my portfolio right now. I mean, it has a history on like what you've bought, what you've sold, um, and this whole website has a lot to offer. It has many articles that kind of explain everything. It has a lot of tutorials as well, like options basics, short selling. It's just a huge tutorial, and there's just lots of things that lots of articles that they write to kind of teach you. There's also an academy section that is basically, I mean, in my opinion, is better than many of the college courses that I've took on finance investing. Um, and they just talk a lot about investment or stock market investments, and many of them are for beginners. Many of them go in depth into specific things, but this is definitely the best tool, the best website that I've used. And yeah, it's a very interesting way of like learning about the stock market because you actually get to experience it. And having $100,000 investment is pretty, um, you know, uh, it's not going to happen for people like me. And maybe you're in high school, maybe in college. I'm in college right now, so I don't really have a lot of investing power, so it's very unrealistic in my opinion, as of right now. So I have to follow the simulated markets, but this is definitely something that, I mean, it's a realistic, the prices are fully followed by the stock market, and it's a very realistic thing. So if you're still in high school, if you're still in college, which is, by the way, when you should be learning about this, um, this is definitely the first thing you should look at, and you should actually follow it. I mean, I'm on it almost every day. I follow it constantly. Maybe I'm sitting in class one day, and I'll just do this and look at it, and it's it's interesting to me. And I mean, I'm interested in finance. I'm a finance major right now, so this is definitely, I mean, it's taught me a lot more than any finance course I've ever taken or any business course I've ever taken. But basically, what I do, just to kind of give you an example of the way I do my stocks, there's probably better ways out there. I mean, I'm not a professional by all means, but this is something that obviously has gotten me a little bit of profit, um, because yeah, I started with 100K, and I started actively doing this probably about 3 months ago, maybe even less than that. I don't really remember, when I fully started, but I've been doing it every day for about a month now, and I'm like selling, like buying and selling constantly. Let me see my trade history. There, it actually tells me kind of what I've bought. So yeah, this is kind of where I started. So November I started doing it, but I kind of would skip days. Then I'd come back on the 29th, and or no, yeah. So January is when I started basically, and I had um yeah, $106,000 of investing power, and I've grown it to 142. So obviously, made a lot of money in a month, less than a month actually, from just doing this. I mean, 40 grand in less than a month is insane to me. So I'll show you the way I do it. Obviously, it has worked out for me. Maybe I'm just lucky. But this is something that I choose to do. Basically, I'll look at I actually go on CNN. There's a lot of, I mean, there's MSN has one, Yahoo has one. And just choose to use CNN. Basically, they show you kind of the stock market today. They show you news on the stock market, and they show you the gainers and losers. And I think this is the best category. And basically, I just go to the losers page, and actually, let's go down. I go to the losers page and look at the cheapest stock I can find. Basically, today there are none. Usually, I'll go with like less than $10 stocks, just because I feel like those are the ones like sometimes I'll buy a stock at $1, or not sometimes. I mean, I've done it before, just once. But I found a stock that was worth $1 and it grew to be like I think 5 or 6 when I sold. So just look for those. Obviously today's not a good day to do that, but let's just go with like let's see this one, Kraft Heinz, and you just basically look at them. So you can see that this one would actually be a really good stock to invest in my opinion, because you just look at the 52-week range, and if it's like in the middle, and it just lost like $10 today, it's probably gonna go back up. So it probably wouldn't be the best investment. But stuff like this, when it's at the lowest it's been in all year, the first thing I do when I see this and it's literally the lowest is I look at the news. So I actually look up Kraft Heinz, and I just look up the news about it, and because it's still getting downgraded, blah 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 blah. So nothing, nothing on here is talking about. Sometimes the owner will declare bankruptcy, or they'll go through like a lawsuit. I feel like many of the cases where like a stock goes completely like this way in the 52-week range is probably because they're getting sued. So I would not invest in, like, just look at the news, and if it says lawsuit, bankruptcy, just anything of that sort, definitely don't buy any of that. As of right now, I would say I would definitely invest in this. It's probably going to go up a few dollars. I would definitely follow this after this video. But yeah, this is something I'd definitely buy, and then I probably would sell it like $38, and be okay with that, because that's a few $1,000s if you invest it right. A few $1,000s in profit, and it'd probably take a few days. So it's a very great investment as of right now, in my opinion, obviously. But that's something I do. Obviously, I would go into more in depth into actually researching this stock before I bought it, but that's why the freedom of Investopedia is so great, because you can just buy it and not have to worry about it. If I was actually investing real capital into this, I would definitely make sure that I research it thoroughly. So that's kind of the first tool, is Investopedia, the first and best tool to get into the stock market, and it's basically the only tool I'll cover that kind of teaches you about the stock market without you having to invest in it, because it has articles, it has tutorials, and it has like the actual simulation. What I would say is definitely do this if you don't have a lot of money saved up right now. I definitely don't right now currently, so I'm definitely gonna stick with this for about a year or so until I actually have capital to invest in stock. But this is a great learning tool. When you do get to the point where you feel like you know enough about the stock market where you are comfortable with investing your actual funds, then this is the website that I use. It's called Robinhood. The only reason why I even got this app is because my friend sent me a referral code, and when you get a referral code, you get a free stock. Sometimes, I mean, it says you can get Apple and like Tesla and all the like big boy stocks, but I doubt that's true. Either way, I'm trying it out right now. Basically, I mean, even with this, I actually started off with $3 Groupon, which was $3.72, and I'm not following it too closely. I just bought, I buy and sell from time to time, so this is not something I'm doing all the time, but I've gained a few cents, which if you think about it, like a large investment is a lot of money. But this is not really a learning tool. It's more of like the first steps into the actual stock market, and when you actually want to invest, I think this is the greatest or the best website. And I mean, I've not really done my research, so there's probably um, other alternatives to this that may be better. But this is what I use. The only reason why I use it is because again, I got a free stock for free, or I got a stock for free. So I just, I'm just experimenting. I haven't put any funds onto this. But if you would like to get into the stock market and kind of actually invest into it, I would say this is the best um, website to do it on, or they have a mobile app as well, because you don't have to pay commission at all. It's completely, it's not really regulated. They have a lot of, I mean, they have, I believe they have the, all of Nasdaq. I'm not sure if they have the NYSE, but if you're 100% sure that you can, you understand the stock market now, and like you just would like to invest in it, definitely do this. But I would say stick to Investopedia for at least a month or two until you completely understand what you're doing and you have a feel for how the stock works, or the stock market works. No one really understands it. I mean, there's stock brokers out there that have no idea. They're just lucky. But in my opinion, there's trends that you can look at, and as I told you, the 52-week range is very important to look at. And I mean, this one I bought at $32.04. Now it's at $35.66. Obviously, a small. It's only a $3 increase in each share, but the reason why I made $6,000 from it is because I have almost 2,000 shares of it. So just make sure that you understand everything before you actually get into the flow of things, and before you actually invest your own capital, because you'll probably lose money when you first begin. It's if you don't go through the steps, go through the tutorials, understand the stock market before, understand how it works before you invest your own capital. So I really hope this video helped. These are tools that again, it helped me. It probably won't help everybody. It's probably not for everybody, but to me, this is the most helpful tools that help me understand it. So I hope it helped. I hope you guys check them out. I will actually put a link to my portfolio, or my Robinhood code. If any of you want to sign up for it, I'll get a free stock, and you will too. So it's pretty sick. And yeah, again, thank you guys for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you have any other ideas or any other tools that helped you, please leave them in the comments below. And then we can discuss that later. All right, have a good one. Bye bye.